Well, it is a movement of anger and hate, a wave of anti-Elon Musk protests erupting across America. It happened all during the weekend as left-wing protesters targeted over 200 dealerships, showrooms, and charging stations under the banner of Take Tesla Down. It's a movement. Apparently, they don't have any problem taking away people's jobs, because if you destroy the employee workplace, how can you hire people? Anyway, they're protesting senior advisor Elon Musk's efforts to cut out government waste through the Department of Government Efficiency. However, some agitators are still resorting to violence. Is that what we're calling them now? Agitators? They're violent. This is Outnumbered. I'm Harris Faulkner, here with my co-hosts Emily Campagno and Kayleigh McEnany. Also joining us today, Jerry Willis, Fox Business correspondent, and Jeremy Hunt, Veterans on Duty chairman and former Army intelligence captain. Well, now the White House is deeming the attacks on Tesla to be domestic terror. Yes, that's more like it. Vehicles and dealerships have been pelted with bullets and Molotov cocktails, causing hundreds of thousands of dollars in damage, and a lot of frightened people driving Teslas. Just this past weekend, protesters encouraged behavior just like that. That's not protesting. In New York, they held up signs that read, "Burn a Tesla, save democracy." And this video shows what happened in Texas. The moment an anti-Tesla agitator rammed his four-wheeler into the side of unsuspecting Tesla owner's vehicle. The victim, fortunately, was not in the car when it happened, but she says the incident has left her living in fear.
It's hurting more of the innocent victims than it is the people that they're trying to hurt. Every day, every second that I have to get in my vehicle, I do worry. And I do worry if I'm going to be in it when they decide to hurt it.
Trump senior advisor Musk is calling out Democrats.
Isn't it shocking how much violence and hatred is coming from the left? I mean, isn't it supposed to be the party that they claim to be the party of empathy? And yet they're burning Teslas and shooting up dealerships and calling for the death of the president and me. I'm like, guys, you know, this is insane. Like, they're gone psycho. I mean, it's really like, I totally understand if somebody doesn't want to buy a product. Yeah, it's up to you. It's a free country, you know, but you don't have to burn it down. Okay? But much. That's somebody else's car. Leave it alone.
Look, a bit of levity there. We could all use it around this topic, but I'm just going to start calling it the Democrat-owned protest at this point. And it really isn't protesting. It is domestic terrorism, setting stuff on fire, blowing stuff up.
I couldn't agree more. That's exactly what it is. And where is the Democrat leadership?
That's exactly right.
And say, look, this is not who we are.
They're owning it.
Be doing that. There's no ownership of that. Where is Hakeem Jeffries? I mean, you see him. He's on socials all the time. There's a photo op. He's there. But when it comes a time for actual leadership, to actually call out his own party and say, hey, look, this is not what we should be doing, he's nowhere to be found. I mean, so that tells me that they have a lack of leadership and really a lack of any integrity to stand up and say this is unacceptable. And that's what Democrat leaders need to get their head around right now.
Well, and Emily, again, I'm not going to wait for them to take responsibility. We'll just call it the Democrat leg, because if you don't try to change something, what do you do? And you're choosing it.
And the other thing is, if there's not a deterrence, then people will continue doing this. So I want to dig into a little bit about your point about domestic terrorism. Let's take Washington State, for example, that enjoys sort of a self-identification as radicals, but really what they are domestic terrorists. And the reality is that 20%, a record year in 2023 in Washington State, were sold EV vehicles. So that means a large proportion of that were Teslas. So that means that almost 20% of all the vehicles in Washington State might be Teslas. It's in their best interest to come out swinging, to charge every single one of those people with domestic terrorism. And then I argue, since in addition to being totally destroyed, that poor woman that you interviewed earlier, where she says up to $5,000, maybe even more dollars worth of damage on her Tesla. Well, make sure that these criminals pay for it. Make sure that they're then punitively charged with 3 times the amount. I mean, let's get some deterrence in here, because at the end of the day, if there isn't such, if we don't charge them, make them be on the hook for the monetary damage, and then show them that this is unacceptable, then they're just going to keep doing it and patting themselves on the back for so.
All right, you mentioned Hakeem Jeffries, former Democratic House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, and House Minority Leader right now. I'm sure he'd love the Speaker job if he could get his hands on it. Hakeem Jeffries were at a loss for words when chased down for a comment about the violence against Elon Musk and Tesla.
Tell us what you think about what's happening with the Tesla products, the violence at the dealerships. What's your take on the situation?
Sorry, I'm a little bit late here right now.
What's your take on it? Do you denounce the violence?
Well, she's late in a lot of ways.
Could you imagine if Mike Johnson was run down or John Thune was run down and they said, what do you think about the burning of a business of a liberal? And they just turn their head. I mean, these are people driving in their vehicles I've seen. And then, people try to hurt them, you saw
Force
that
them off the
four-wheeler,
road.
force them off
Yep.
the road. And then
Yep.
that, stationary vehicle that incurred all that damage from that four-wheeler there. It's insane that they won't call this out. So too are the protests themselves insane. I watched video of one in Manhattan. These protesters had these coffin-shaped posters. And on these coffin-shaped posters, they were laying down, like faking death. And the coffin-shaped posters had these messages: killed by the system 2025. Well, you weren't killed, you're alive, and you're protesting with coffin-shaped posters. Death by Doge bite, I guess points for creativity there, Doge bite. Musk made Trump out Social Security, not sure what that one means. NIH cuts cancer research. Medicaid cuts killed me. Didn't kill you, you're still alive. And RIP Medicaid, rest in peace Medicaid. Devoid of facts. Elon Musk came out about this Manhattan protest and said, I've not cut Medicaid, Social Security, unless you consider cutting fraud out of these programs, which saves the system, cutting them. They have not cut benefits for anyone. But where are the facts from these protesters? Shame on anyone promoting these protesters, and shame on the liberal media for suggesting Elon Musk was doing a Nazi hand signal when he was not. You have demonized this man, and the outgrowth of that has been violence.
Yeah, but you know that liberals often like to compare everything to slavery and the Holocaust.
Of course
I mean,
they do.
as if those points in history were not horrific enough and deserve their own lane and respect.
Exactly.
I mean, it's unbelievable, their lack of imagination. Jerry, let's talk just money here.
Yes.
When you talk about the earth cutting that goes into making an EV, right, for that battery.
yeah,
And the car
absolutely.
blows up. Emily alluded to this. Even if you didn't have to pay for the shell of the car, those batteries are very expensive. We don't even have, in this country, a lot of the materials to make them. So we have to buy more through China. I mean, these people hate the country because they have not figured any of this out, and all of it is expensive.
So the young woman we quoted, we ran her sound here talking about losing, her Tesla attacked. She said, this was my dream car. And you said $5,000, $7,000 worth of damage, probably more. This is terrible. And I just wanted to talk about money in this way. Follow the money. That's what you've got to do with these protests, right? Who is paying for this? And this is a question that Elon Musk is asking. And when you look at the reporting on this, what you find is that a lot of this cash is coming from the Democratic Progressive Party. It's coming from people who are liberals.
Is George Soros on that list?
Did not see George Soros' name, but there is an organization called, get this, the Climate Defenders. They want to protest Elon Musk's Tesla.
Who are they funded by?
These are the people. I don't have that level of detail,
I'm going to dig
Harris.
deeper, but I love what you bring.
But let me just finish my thought here. These are people who are calling for lower emissions, and that's exactly what Elon Musk, the great innovator, is providing. He's reducing emissions. So, I mean, this is just crazy. And this is cash. This is money on the barrel that is funding these. These aren't grassroots, people rising up. No. It's, your progressives at work.
And what, in your estimation, flipped the switch? Because they were willing to go out and buy these cars. I mean, seriously, it wasn't just
Two
that
words.
other people had them. Some of them had them.
Donald Trump. They don't like Donald Trump. I actually think this is where all the venom is coming from.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.